The rain hammered against the glass roof of the bus station as Olivia checked her watch for the 5th time in 2 minutes. Her white dress, carefully hidden beneath a trench coat, rustled with each anxious movement. The 3:15 bus to Westlake Chapel would arrive in exactly 7 minutes. 7 minutes until the journey to becoming Daniel Prescott began. Am I making the right decision? She pushed the thought away. Story. After dating for 3 years, this marriage made perfect sense. Daniel was stable, predictable, safe. The station bustled with rushing travelers, their umbrellas leaving trails on the polished floor. Olivia clutched her small suitcase tighter, her engagement ring reflecting the fluorescent light. That's when she heard it, a small sob cutting through the station noise. A little boy, no more than 5, stood alone by the ticket counter, tears streaming down his cheeks, his Superman backpack clutched against his chest. "Are you okay?" Olivia approached slowly, bending to his level. "I can't find my dad," he whispered, his lower lip trembling. "He was here, and then—" His voice broke with another sob. Olivia glanced at the station clock. 6 minutes now. "What's your name, honey?" "Jake." "I'm Olivia. We'll find your dad, okay?" Jake nodded, his small hand slipping into hers with immediate trust. 5 minutes until her bus. She led him to the information desk, but the line stretched endlessly. Jake's grip tightened as a security guard passed. "He looks scary," he whispered. "He's here to help," Olivia assured him, but Jake shrank behind her. 4 minutes. Her phone buzzed. "Daniel." "Where are you? You better be on your way." "Daniel, I found a lost boy at the station. I'm trying to—" "Are you serious right now? This is our wedding day, Olivia." "I know, but there are literally hundreds of people in that station. Let someone else handle it." 3 minutes. Olivia looked at Jake, his eyes wide with fear and trust. "I can't just leave him, Daniel. For God's sake, you always do this. You put everyone else before us." 2 minutes. The final call to board the 3:15 bus echoed through the station. "Daniel, I'm going to miss the bus. Can you send someone to pick me up?" Silence stretched between them before he spoke, his voice icy. "If you're not on that bus, don't bother coming." "What? You can't say?" "It's over, Olivia. I'm not marrying someone who can't even show up to her own wedding." The line went dead. 1 minute. The 3:15 bus pulled away from the curb, carrying away everything Olivia had planned for her future. "Miss, are you crying too?" Jake asked, his little pinky finger pointing to her cheek. She hadn't even realized she was crying. The information desk finally cleared, and a station attendant took Jake's information, broadcasting it over the PA system. Olivia stayed with him, her wedding dress growing heavier beneath her coat with each passing minute. When they stepped outside to check the parking lot, the rain had intensified to sheets of water, soaking her clothes in seconds. Her carefully styled hair fell in soggy waves around her shoulders. "Jake, thank God!" A tall figure raced across the parking lot, expensive shoes splashing through puddles without hesitation. Jake released Olivia's hand and ran to the man. "Dad!" The man scooped his son into his arms, hugging him tightly, his shoulders slumping with relief. When he finally looked up, Olivia found herself caught in the gaze of the most intense eyes she'd ever seen, steel gray with slivers of blue, framed by dark lashes, now heavy with rain. "You found my son." It wasn't a question, but a statement filled with something deeper than gratitude. He was alone by the ticket counter. Olivia's voice sounded strange to her own ears, thin and fragile. "You've been crying." Another observation, direct and unwavering. A car horn blared as her phone lit up with notifications. Missed calls from the bridal party, her mother, the wedding planner. "It's nothing," she lied, as the rain mingled with her tears. The man studied her for a long moment, Jake secure in his arms. He was striking, not conventionally handsome, but magnetic, with sharp features and an air of absolute command. His tailored suit, now soaked, clung to his broad shoulders. "I'm Ethan DeVero," he said finally, "and you just saved my entire world." Lightning flashed, illuminating his face in stark relief. "Olivia Gardner," she replied, unable to look away despite the downpour. "You're drenched, Olivia Gardner." He glanced at his sleek black car parked nearby. "Let me buy you a coffee. It's the least I can do." "I really should." She trailed off, realizing she had nowhere to go. A small smile curved his lips, not reaching those storm-gray eyes. "I insist," as thunder rumbled overhead. Olivia made a decision that would unravel everything she thought she knew about love, desire, and herself. "A coffee," she agreed. Ethan DeVero's gaze lingered on her face, an unreadable intensity in his scrutiny that sent a shiver down her spine that had nothing to do with the rain. "A coffee," he repeated. His voice was a low promise. For now, the lobby of the Bellevue Grand Hotel shimmered with marble and crystal, a universe away from the gritty bus terminal. Olivia sat on the edge of a velvet armchair, acutely aware of her disheveled appearance amid such opulence. "Earl Grey with honey." Ethan slid the steaming cup across the table. "Jake mentioned you smelled like flowers and honey." A blush warmed her cheeks, observant child. "Like his father." The corner of his mouth quirked upward. Jake had fallen asleep in a nearby chair, his Superman backpack clutched against his chest. A hotel employee had discreetly provided a cashmere blanket to cover him. "He's exhausted," Ethan explained, loosening his tie. His mother dropped him off unexpectedly. "He has a flair for chaos." Olivia wrapped her fingers around the delicate china, absorbing its warmth. "Are you divorced?" 3 years. He studied her over the rim of his espresso cup. "And you were supposed to be somewhere important today." The statement hung between them, neither question nor accusation. "My wedding." The words tasted bitter. "My ex-fiancé didn't appreciate my tardiness." Ethan's eyebrows rose slightly. "He abandoned you for being late? For choosing to help Jake instead of making it to the ceremony on time?" Something shifted in his expression. "Respect, perhaps." "Then he's an imbecile." A surprised laugh escaped her lips. "That's generous. I was thinking heartless bastard." His smile emerged, this time genuine, transforming his austere features. "I stand corrected." The hotel manager approached their table with smooth deference. "Mr. Devereaux, your suite is ready. We've prepared the adjoining room for your son, as requested." "Thank you, Harrison." Ethan turned back to her. "Where will you be staying tonight, Olivia?" Reality crashed back. Her honeymoon suite reservation in Westlake. Her belongings, already delivered to what should have been her marital home. She hadn't considered that. Her voice sounded hollow, even to herself. Ethan assessed her with that penetrating gaze. "The hotel has excellent rooms. Allow me to arrange something." "I couldn't. You saved my son." His tone brooked no argument. "One night at a hotel hardly balances the scales." Before she could protest further, he was speaking quietly to the manager. "It's arranged," he announced upon returning. "You have a suite for as long as you need. Consider it necessity, not generosity." He leaned forward, his presence magnetic. "Now tell me about yourself, Olivia Gardner." The question seemed innocuous, but his focused attention made it feel significant. She found herself revealing more than intended. Her job as an event coordinator for a non-profit, her small apartment in Chelsea, her passion for old movies. In turn, he shared measured details of his life. The CEO of Devereaux Holdings, Jake's primary custodian, his preference for sailing over Gulf. "You don't strike me as someone recently jilted," she commented after their second round of drinks. "Seems relieved." The observation surprised her. "Perhaps I am." His phone buzzed. Frowning at the screen, he silenced it. "Trouble?" she asked. "Camila." His expression hardened. "Jake's mother." "Ah." The temperature between them seemed to drop several degrees. "She excels at complicated situations." He set down his glass with precisely controlled force. Tomorrow night is the Mercer Foundation Gala. Camila will be attending with her new boyfriend, a former colleague of mine. Strange, strategically planned. His jaw tightened. She's determined to flaunt their relationship in front of our business associates and publicly embarrass me. Olivia tilted her head. You don't seem easily embarrassed. I'm not worried about embarrassment. A dangerous edge crept into his voice. I'm concerned with perception. Appearances matter in my world. His expression shifted suddenly, as if an idea had struck him. He examined her with renewed interest. You said you're an event coordinator? Yes. So you understand social dynamics, proper etiquette, and how to navigate complex social situations. She nodded slowly, unsure where this was leading. Perfect. He straightened in his chair. I'm offering you a proposition, Olivia. Caution prickled her spine. What kind of proposition? Attend the gala with me tomorrow night. His eyes gleamed with intensity. Accompany me as my date. Shock left her momentarily speechless. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend? To make your ex jealous? Not precisely. He shook his head. I want to demonstrate that I've moved on, that Camille's tactics are irrelevant, and I assume you need help to demonstrate this point because it takes time to regroup after today's disaster. His frankness was impressive. Because you're intelligent, beautiful, and clearly need a distraction, and because I suspect you're excellent company. Her mind raced with objections. I don't have anything appropriate to wear to a high society function. Easily remedied. I know nothing about your business or your associates. You're quick. You'll adapt. I don't know you. His eyes locked with hers. That might be the strongest argument in favor of accepting. The challenge in his gaze ignited something latent within her. A desire for adventure. For the unexpected. This is insane, she whispered. Undeniably. The curve of his mouth was almost predatory, but infinitely more interesting than sitting alone in a hotel room lamenting a relationship that clearly wasn't right for you. His certainty about her failed engagement should have irritated her. Instead, it felt like permission to acknowledge what she'd refused to admit, even to herself. One night, he continued, his voice deepening. No expectations beyond that. The lobby's grandfather clock chimed midnight. Cinderella's deadline, Olivia thought wryly. But this was no fairy tale, and Ethan Devereaux was certainly no Prince Charming. He was something far more dangerous. Why me? She asked finally. You could invite anyone. Because when I saw you standing in that downpour, soaked to the bone, and with makeup running down your face, you didn't look defeated. His voice dropped to an intimate murmur. You looked like a woman on the verge of transformation. The air between them seemed charged with electricity. Fine, she heard herself say. One night, no expectations. His smile was slow and victorious. Excellent. As they rose to leave, he brushed his fingers lightly against her wrist. The brief contact sent a jolt through her body that had nothing to do with static electricity, and everything to do with the look in his storm-gray eyes. Until tomorrow, Olivia Gardner, he murmured, lifting his sleeping son into his arms. As he walked toward the elevators, she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just made a deal with a particularly sophisticated devil, and may heaven help her. She was looking forward to it. A velvet-lined box awaited Olivia when she returned to her suite that afternoon. Inside, an exquisite burgundy gown spilled from tissue paper like liquid garnet. The fabric whispered against her skin as she slipped it on. Its perfect fit was too precise to be a coincidence. The suite's phone rang at 7 o'clock sharp. Stepping into the elevator, Olivia caught her reflection. A stranger stared back. Gone was the woman who'd planned a sensible life. This creature, with eyes rimmed in kohl and lips stained the color of sin, looked dangerous. Ethan occupied the back seat of the waiting Bentley, his attention fixed on his phone. He looked up as she slid in beside him. His fingers froze mid-text. For 5 breathless seconds, he simply stared. Do you approve? The question escaped her before she could stop it. His gaze traveled deliberately from her bare shoulders to the slit that revealed a glimpse of thigh. The dress serves its purpose, which is to ensure that every man in the room envies me tonight. The raw edge to his tone sent a shiver across her skin. Flashes popped like miniature lightning strikes as they ascended the grand staircase of the historic mansion. Ethan navigated the crowd with practiced ease, introducing her to a blur of faces. Senators, tech moguls, wealthy patriarchs. "You're a natural," he murmured, leaning close enough for his breath to stir tendrils of hair at her temple. "They're suspicious," she corrected, maintaining her smile. "I can practically hear the gossip machine whirring." "Good. Let them wonder." Dancing with Ethan was like stepping into a live current. His palm against her waist guided her with subtle pressure, their bodies separated by mere millimeters of heated air. "Everyone's watching us," she whispered. "No, they're watching you." The music shifted to a slower tempo. His grip tightened, eliminating the small distance that remained. "Tell me something true, Olivia." "I'm terrified." "Of me?" The question held genuine curiosity. "Of how this feels." His pupils dilated, midnight-consuming storm gray. Before she could answer, a silky voice cut through their reverie. "Ethan, darling, how deliciously unexpected." The woman who materialized beside them exuded icy perfection. Platinum hair in an architectural updo, cheekbones that could cut diamonds, a silver column dress that emphasized her slender figure. "Camila." Ethan's tone conveyed nothing. He turned his predatory eyes back to Olivia. "And who might this be?" "Olivia Gardner, my date." Camilla's laugh tinkled like broken crystal. "How charming. Did you hire her for the night, or is this a more permanent arrangement?" The insult hung in the air, razor sharp. "Actually," Olivia interjected smoothly, "we met when I found your son wandering alone. His mother had apparently forgotten him." "Again. How unfortunate that you were misinformed." Camilla's gaze hardened. "Jake is quite prone to exaggeration." "Speaking of inheritance," Ethan cut in coolly, "I understand congratulations are in order. Your new partner's recent promotion at Blackwood Securities was quite precipitous." A muscle ticked in Camilla's jaw. "Thomas earned that position. Of course, his expertise in corporate espionage must prove valuable." Camilla regained her composure, placing manicured fingers on Ethan's sleeve. "We should catch up, darling, for Jake's sake." "My schedule is quite full." He removed her hand with casual precision. Fury flickered in her blue eyes before she masked it. "Enjoy your evening, then." "And you," she addressed Olivia. "Enjoy it while it lasts. Ethan's liaisons are notoriously brief." "Nice woman," Olivia murmured, as Camilla glided away. "She wasn't always like that." Something akin to regret colored his words. The revelation stung inexplicably. "You loved her." "I loved who I thought she was." He steered Olivia toward the terrace doors. A costly mistake. The cool night air embraced them. The Manhattan skyline glittered beyond manicured gardens. "Why did you marry her?" The question surfaced spontaneously. "She was pregnant. I believed in responsibility. And now? Now I believe in authenticity." He turned, studying her with intensity. "No more masks, Olivia." Something electric passed between them. His gaze dropped to her lips. Ethan drew a breath. It was unclear if it was a warning or an invitation. He leaned closer. "Camila is watching from the window." "Oh." Disappointment flooded her veins. This was all an act, nothing more. His hand cupped her cheek with unexpected tenderness. "But that's not why I'm going to kiss you." Before she could process his words, his mouth claimed hers. The contact ignited something primal. Hunger. Need. Recognition. His lips moved with devastating expertise, persuading rather than demanding. The kiss deepened, blurring thought. His arms encircled her, one hand splayed across her back, the other tangled in her hair. She arched against him, her hands gripping his shoulders for purchase. That, he murmured against her temple when they finally broke apart, wasn't for show. Back inside the ballroom, Olivia navigated conversations mechanically, hyper-aware of Ethan's proximity, the phantom pressure of his lips, the searing memory of his taste. As the evening drew to a close, Camille materialized once more as Ethan conversed with a senator across the room. He's quite magnificent, isn't he? Camille sipped champagne. Like taming a wolf. I've never been interested in taming anything, Olivia replied calmly. You think you're different. They all do. I don't think about it at all. You will. Venom laced her perfect diction. When he discards you like all the others. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a cruel whisper. You think you've won because he kissed you? Darling, I never lose. What Ethan and I share can never be broken, especially not by someone who doesn't understand the game she's playing. Before Olivia could respond, Camille intercepted Ethan, whispering something in his ear that transformed his expression to granite. In the limousine, silence stretched between them like an abyss. The passionate man from the terrace had vanished, replaced by this remote stranger. What did she say to you? Olivia asked finally. Nothing important. His gaze remained fixed on the passing cityscape. When the Bentley pulled into the hotel's circular drive, uncertainty twisted in Olivia's stomach. Had the entire evening been an elaborate charade? The doorman opened her side first. As she stepped onto the curb, Ethan finally looked at her, conflict raging behind his carefully controlled expression. Good night, Olivia. 2 words, polite and final. A dismissal. She'd allowed herself to believe, if only for a moment, that the spark between them transcended their agreement, that their kiss held meaning beyond strategy. The elevator doors were closing when a hand shot between them. Ethan stepped inside, his expression unreadable. You left, he stated flatly, and returned. When they reached her floor, neither moved. Why did you come back? She whispered. His gaze locked with hers, raw with conflict. Because walking away from you might be the biggest mistake of my life. The doors slid open, waiting. Prove it, she challenged softly. The penthouse suite stretched before them, the glittering Manhattan skyline framed by floor-to-ceiling windows. Neither spoke as Ethan walked to the bar, pouring amber liquid into crystal glasses. Reflections? He offered her a glass, maintaining a careful distance. Olivia accepted the drink, pointedly not touching his fingers, trying to determine if this is insane. Undeniably. A ghost of a smile touched his lips as he loosened his tie. The question is it the kind worth pursuing? She sipped the whiskey, grateful for its burn. Why did you really invite me tonight? I told you. No, she interrupted. The real reason. Ethan leaned against the window. City lights cast shadows across his face. When I saw you in that bus terminal, soaked and devastated but still standing, I recognized something. What? Resilience. His gaze met hers. It's rare. The compliment warmed her more than the alcohol. That doesn't explain following me into the elevator. He swirled the liquor in his glass. Impulse. Not my typical approach. Regrets? None. His voice dropped lower. Yet, Olivia moved toward the piano in the corner, trailing her fingertips across its polished surface. Do you play? Badly. He watched her movements with predatory focus. Jake takes lessons. The mention of his son softened something between them. He seems wonderful. He is. Pride colored his tone. The only decision I've never questioned. She sat on the bench, striking a key that resonated in the silent space. Unlike bringing me here, Ethan approached, stopping just beyond her reach. I'm still determining what you are, Olivia. A person, not a puzzle. She struck another key. A temptation. The word hung between them, charged and dangerous. Heat climbed her neck. You barely know me. I know enough. He stepped closer. You value loyalty over convenience, kindness over social advantage, authenticity over pretense. You've deduced all that from a one-day acquaintance? From seeing you with my son? From watching you handle Camille with grace instead of venom? From how you look at me? From what I sense beneath what you possess, but who you might be? Olivia rose abruptly, needing space from his intensity. You're projecting qualities you want to see, perhaps. He set down his glass. Or perhaps I recognize something extraordinary when I find it. She retreated toward the terrace doors. This arrangement was temporary. One night. It's concluded. Is that what you want? He remained motionless, giving her room to escape. The honest answer terrified her. What I want is irrelevant. This, she gestured between them. It's pointless. We inhabit different worlds. Worlds shift. He took a single step toward her. Feelings arise where they shouldn't. Feelings? She attempted sarcasm, but only achieved vulnerability. Inconvenient, aren't they? His self-mockery couldn't hide the sincerity beneath. What made you change your mind? She forced herself to ask. After we left the gala, you were distant. Something hardened in your expression. Camille has a talent for poisoning moments. What did she say to you? Nothing worth repeating. It was about me. His jaw tightened. She implied certain things about your motives. Understanding dawned. She suggested I'm after your money. He didn't deny it. Camille judges everyone by her own standards. And you believed her? The hurt in her voice surprised them both. For approximately 3 minutes, his gaze never wavered. Until I remembered who found my son. Moonlight spilled through the windows, painting silver patterns on the floor. Olivia shivered despite the room's warmth. Cold? He approached slowly. Deliberately. No. Her pulse quickened as the distance between them dwindled. Uncertain. About? This. She gestured vaguely. The wisdom of whatever this is. His fingers brushed her bare shoulder, light as a feather. Wisdom rarely factors into matters of attraction. The contact sent electricity through her veins. Attraction fades, eventually. His fingers traced her collarbone. But we're discussing the present. She forced herself to meet his eyes. What exactly are you proposing, Ethan? Nothing so formal. His palm rested on her neck, simply acknowledging the obvious, which is that I want to kiss you again. The confession was low, almost irreverent. And that you want me to let you? Her breath hitched. Presumptuous? Perceptive. His thumb traced the line of her jaw. Tell me I'm wrong. You're not wrong. The admission escaped her, as little more than a whisper. Something primitive flared in his eyes. If you want me to stop, Olivia, say so now. Her response was to lean forward, eliminating the last inches between them. Their lips met with a sweetness that quickly escalated into hunger. This kiss contained no element of performance, only raw, unadorned need. His hands framed her face, as if she were precious. She gripped his shoulders, anchoring herself as sensation overwhelmed reason. When they broke apart, both breathless, Ethan pressed his forehead against hers. Stay with me tonight. I shouldn't. Her voice betrayed her conflict. I'm not asking you what you should do. I'm asking you what you want. Before she could answer, a phone interrupted the moment. Not his sleek device, but hers, ringing from her purse. Daniel! Ethan stepped back, creating space between them without comment. Trembling fingers retrieved the vibrating phone. The screen displayed 5 missed calls and a new message. I made a terrible mistake. We need to talk. Your fiancé seems to have reconsidered. Ethan's voice remained carefully neutral. Ex-fiancé, she corrected. For now. Something shuddered in his expression. Until you forgive him. I haven't decided if forgiveness is warranted, hasn't he? His tone held no accusation, merely resignation. He represents safety, familiarity, the logical choice. Unlike you? The question escaped her before she could censor it. I'm many things, Olivia, but I've never pretended to be logical. He turned toward the bar. Oh, safe. The phone buzzed again in her palm. Daniel calling now. Should you answer it? Ethan's back remained to her. Unresolved questions make for restless nights. What if I don't want to talk to him? He turned, studying her. Then that in itself is an answer, isn't it? The phone continued its insistent vibration. With a decisive movement, Olivia silenced it and returned it to her purse. Not tonight. She met Ethan's unwavering gaze. Whatever Daniel wants, it can wait. Something shifted in Ethan's expression. Surprise, perhaps, or respect. He approached her again. Are you sure? The question encompassed far more than the unanswered call. Her response was to close the distance between them, lacing her fingers through his shirt. This est held none of the restraint of their previous encounters, only honest, uncomplicated desire. His arms encircled her completely, enveloping her in strength and warmth. The world narrowed to sensation, his mouth exploring hers, his hands roaming her spine, her chest against her palms. When they finally parted, Ethan's eyes had darkened. "Stay," he whispered. "Not for him, for us." The plea hung between them, direct, unhurried, leaving the choice entirely to her. Her phone vibrated once more from her discarded handbag. The sound seemed to come from another universe. "Ethan." Her name surfaced as both question and answer. "I won't offer it forever, Olivia. Only tonight. No promises. Beyond dawn." The honesty in his voice sparked something unexpected. Not disappointment, but liberation. "Tonight," she nodded softly, "is enough." Morning light streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, waking Olivia from a dream. Disorientation gripped her momentarily. Unfamiliar sheets, panoramic views of Manhattan, the subtle scent of sandalwood on the pillow. Ethan's penthouse. The space beside her was empty, still warm. From somewhere beyond the bedroom, she caught the muted cadence of his voice. Quiet, authoritative, handling business before daybreak. Reality intruded like an unwanted guest. Last night existed in another dimension, a fantasy woven with champagne, moonlight, and skin against skin. Dawn demanded the reckoning of consequences. Her phone blinked with notifications. 17 missed calls from Daniel, 8 voicemails, countless texts. She silenced it again, reluctant to shatter the fragile bubble that surrounded those hours. The bedroom door opened, revealing Ethan in gray sleepwear, his hair damp from the shower, 2 mugs in hand. "Awake?" "Barely." She accepted the coffee, grateful for something to hold. "Early calls?" "Tokyo markets." He sat on the edge of the mattress, maintaining a deliberate distance between them. "Sleep well?" The careful politeness stung after their intimacy. "No dreams?" Silence stretched, heavy with unasked questions. He broke first. "Regrets?" "None." She met his eyes directly. "You?" "Only that morning arrived." A flicker of last night's warmth returned to his eyes. Her phone lit up again on the nightstand, Daniel's face flashing on the screen. Ethan's expression cooled instantly. He's persistent. Guilt often is. She rejected the call, but the interruption shattered their momentary connection. "I've prepared breakfast. Take your time." He stood, retreating both physically and emotionally. Alone again, Olivia faced her reflection in the bathroom mirror. Tousled hair, faint marks along her collarbone. Eyes beat with secrets. The woman staring back seemed transformed, unknown. Had one night truly changed her, or had it simply revealed something latent? The dining room offered another study in luxury. Fresh pastries, artfully arranged fruit, and sterling silver coffee service. Ethan stood by the windows, his profile etched against the cityscape, already dressed in a tailored charcoal suit. Back to business, back to reality. "You've traded whiskey for coffee." Her aim was lightness. "Responsibilities await." His smile didn't reach his eyes, including Jake's return this afternoon. The mention of his son crystallized the surreal nature of her situation. 24 hours ago, she'd been rushing to marry another man. Now she stood in a billionaire's penthouse, contemplating the fallout of passion. I should go. She left her coffee untouched. This was unexpected, she finished, but not unpleasant. Before he could respond, the elevator chimed. Ethan frowned. I'm not expecting anyone. The doors slid open to reveal Camilla, impeccable in a cream cashmere dress and red-soled heels that echoed against the marble as she strode into the penthouse uninvited. Ethan, darling, we need to talk. She paused, registering Olivia, satisfaction reflected in her perfect features. Well, how domestic. Ethan's posture shifted subtly, protective. This isn't a convenient time, Camille. Evidently. Her gaze dissected Olivia with surgical precision. I came about Jake's summer plans, but I see you're occupied. Humiliation burned in Olivia's veins. She was half-dressed in borrowed clothes, while Camille radiated elegance and belonging. I'll give you privacy. Olivia headed for the bedroom. Don't run on my account. Camille's smile gleamed like a sword. I'm familiar with Ethan's day-after protocol. Coffee? Polite conversation. Promises to call that never materialize. Enough! Ethan's voice cut like steel. Camille ignored him, addressing Olivia directly. Do you think last night meant something? That you're different? Pity colored her tone. Darling, I invented that illusion. This doesn't concern you. Ethan stepped between them. Doesn't it? Camille challenged. When you're parading your latest distraction in front of my son? Her words struck with precision. Olivia remembered the night's intimacies, now tainted by innuendo. Had she simply been another conquest? A temporary escape from boredom? Jake adores me, Camille continued, now addressing Ethan. He needs stability, not a parade of overnight guests playing mommy. That's rich coming from you. Anger edged his words. Her voice softened, transforming before Olivia's eyes into something vulnerable. The therapy you insisted on helped. I'm ready to do what you and Jake need. The revelation stunned Olivia. Therapy? Reconciliation? What history lay between them? This discussion can wait. Ethan glanced at Olivia, conflict evident in his expression. Can it? Camille pressed. When your impulsiveness affects Jake? When he's already asked me twice if mommy and daddy are going to live together again? Olivia felt invisible, a spectator in an intimate family drama. The fantasy of passion crumbled, revealing the complicated reality of Ethan's life, a life in which she was an interloper. I should go. She gathered her dignity and retreated to collect her things. In the bedroom, she dressed quickly. Her mind raced. Last night shimmered with possibilities, but daylight exposed uncomfortable truths. Ethan wasn't simply available. He was entangled in complex family dynamics, co-parenting arrangements, a history that bound him permanently to Camille. What had she expected? That one magical night would erase these complications? When she emerged, Camille had left. Ethan stood by the windows. Tension radiated from his shoulders. I apologize for that ambush. He turned, his expression guarded. Camille excels at strategic timing. She's still in love with you. The statement fell between them, undeniable. She's in love with controlling me. Bitterness edged his words. There's a distinction. He's there, Olivia challenged. You share a son. History. She's in therapy at my request, to address her manipulative tendencies, not for reconciliation. Yet your son hopes for the opposite. Pain flickered across his features. Children often desire what isn't possible. Perhaps. She clutched her purse tighter. But perhaps some desires deserve consideration. Meaning I walked away from my wedding because something felt wrong. I won't disrupt a family on similar impulses. Frustration darkened his gaze. Are you letting Camille's theatrics dictate your choices? No. Conviction steadied her voice. I'm acknowledging reality. Last night was extraordinary, but it exists in isolation. You have complications I can't and shouldn't compete with. I'm not asking you to compete. He stepped closer. What happened between us was chemistry and timing, she interrupted, protecting herself from promises he couldn't keep. Nothing more. The lie tasted bitter, but necessary. Whatever connection sparked between them, pursuing it meant entering a battlefield where Camille held all the advantages. History, Jake's affection, intimate knowledge of Ethan's vulnerabilities. You don't believe that. He took her hand. She stepped back. I need to believe it. Something shattered in his expression. Pride, perhaps, or nascent hope. Then you'll go back to him, the man who discarded you without hesitation. The accusation landed with precision. That's unfair. Is it? Anger edged his words. 24 hours ago you were devastated. Now you're running back to what destroyed you. I never said it wasn't necessary. He turned away, his voice hardening. Choose safety if you must, but don't pretend it's about Jake or Camille. It's about fear. The cruel assessment struck deep. Was he right? Was she seeking refuge in the familiar rather than risking further hurt? Perhaps it is, she acknowledged, gathering what dignity remained. But sometimes fear exists for protection. They faced each other across an emotional chasm. Neither knew how to bridge. The previous night's intimacy evaporated, replaced by defensive posture. I should go. She headed for the elevator, his expression closed off completely. The vulnerable lover replaced by the controlled executive. Of course, the car will take you wherever you wish. The formality stung more than anger. As the elevator doors opened, she hesitated. Ethan, no. His voice cut sharply. Whatever you're about to say, save it. I've heard every polite rejection possible. Pride straightened her spine. I was going to thank you. Something flickered in his eyes. Regret, perhaps. But his reply was cold and final. No thanks are necessary. It was just a night, as agreed. The elevator doors closed between them, severing whatever fragile connection they'd forged. As the car descended, Olivia leaned against the white marble wall, fighting unexpected tears. In 24 hours, she'd lost a fiancé. She'd found unexpected passion, and walked away from both. The emptiness yawned before her, terrifying in its possibilities. As the elevator reached the lobby, her phone buzzed with a text notification. Daniel. I'm at the Wellington Hotel, room 718. Please, just talk. The Wellington was only 2 blocks away. She could walk there now, listen to his explanation, and consider forgiveness. Return to the safe, predictable future she'd planned. She stepped out into the sunlight, Manhattan bustling around her indifferently. At the corner, she paused. Left towards the Wellington and Daniel, right towards an uncertain future without either. Her decision crystallized with surprising clarity. She turned right. 3 days passed in a blur of logistical confusion. Olivia retrieved her belongings from what should have been her marital home. She secured a temporary sublet and plunged back into work at the non-profit. Wednesday afternoon found her hunched over spreadsheets in a corner cafe, budgeting for the children's literacy event, rain drumming against the window panes, mirroring her mood. Olivia. She froze at the familiar voice. Daniel stood before her, raindrops clinging to his navy peacoat, shadows beneath his eyes suggesting sleepless nights. This isn't a good time. She focused on her laptop screen. 5 minutes. He slid into the chair opposite her. Please. 4 minutes, 50 seconds. I was wrong. The blunt admission snagged her attention. Catastrophically, unforgivably wrong. Yes, you were. She closed her laptop. Is that all? I panicked. When you missed the bus, I convinced myself it was a sign you weren't committed enough. Commitment wasn't the problem. Her voice remained steady. Your willingness to discard me over an incident was, I know. Misery etched lines around his mouth. My father had just called. warning me that history repeats itself. So you preemptively sabotaged our wedding because your father has relationship issues. It sounds ridiculous now. It was ridiculous then. Anger flared unexpectedly. You abandoned me on what should have been the happiest day of our lives. I've regretted every second since. He reached for her hand. She pulled it back. The caterers, the guests, everything was there. I looked at that empty spot beside me and realized what I'd thrown away. You missed the bride at the altar, not me specifically. That's not true, isn't it? Clarity sharpened her thoughts. You're grieving the wedding, Daniel. The event, not our relationship. That's unfair. I've known you for 3 years. We built a life together. A predictable life. Understanding blossomed, one that fit perfectly into your 5-year plan. His silence confirmed her assessment. I loved you. The past tense emerged naturally, but now I wonder if I loved the idea of us more than the reality. You're upset, but we can fix this. There's nothing to fix. She gathered her belongings. Some breaks are permanent. This is about him, isn't it? The accusation hardened his features. I made inquiries. Devereaux, divorced, custody disputes, rumored affairs. Is that why you left me for him? Ice flooded her veins. You've been investigating me? You, not him. Is that what happened? I didn't leave you for anyone. You discarded me. What happened afterward is irrelevant. So, something did happen. His expression darkened. While I was devastated, you were careful. Her warning was sharp as steel. You forfeited all right to judge my actions. Frustration contorted his features. I made a mistake, a revealing one. She rose to leave. Goodbye, Daniel. Wait! He grabbed her wrist. Just listen. Whatever fantasy you've built with this man isn't real. He has a reputation. The assessment echoed her own fears. Release me! Not until you hear me out. I know you. He doesn't. Whatever he promised nothing. The truth burst forth. That's the difference between you. Your promises were hollow. His honesty was absolute. Daniel's grip tightened. You're being naive, and you're causing a scene. She nodded toward the staring patrons. With visible effort, he released her. Just think about what you're throwing away. 3 years, a home, a future. I already considered it. My answer is still no. As she moved towards the exit, his final plea followed her. I still love you. 2 blocks later, drenched, she saw the sleek vehicle pull alongside her. The passenger window rolled down. Curious time for a stroll. Ethan's calm voice carried over the rain. Her footsteps faltered. Are you following me now? Coincidence? Board meeting. He gestured toward the building across the street. But you're soaked, and I have a car. Pride battled practicality. I'm fine. Stubborn too. He extended an umbrella from the window. As her fingers closed around the handle, he released it without allowing their skin to touch. Thank you. Formality felt safer than genuine gratitude. He nodded, then glanced beyond her. His expression hardened. It appears your fiancé has located you. She turned to find Daniel approaching, determination etched in his stride. Ex-fiancé, she automatically corrected. Semantics. Ethan's tone chilled. He seems intent on reconciliation. Before she could respond, Daniel reached them, staring hard between Olivia and the luxury vehicle. So the rumors are true. Accusation laced his words. You left me for him. I didn't leave you at all. You abandoned me, remember? The passenger door opened, and Ethan exited with unhurried grace. His presence dominated the sidewalk. Mr. Prescott, I presume. His tone conveyed polite disinterest. Daniel visibly bristled. And you're the vulture who swooped in on my fiancé. Ex-fiancé, Ethan corrected smoothly. A distinction you created through your own actions. This doesn't concern you. When you accost a woman in the rain, it becomes a public concern. Steel underscored Ethan's pleasant tone. Daniel's fists clenched. Olivia and I have history, culminating with abandonment on your wedding day. Ethan's assessment landed with precision. Impressive commitment. You know nothing about us. I know enough. The quiet certainty in Ethan's voice resonated more deeply than Daniel's indignation. Olivia interjected before the hostility escalated. Stop, both of you. I'm not property to be contested. Of course not. Daniel softened his approach. I just want to talk without interference. We've talked. There's nothing more to say. You're making a mistake. Desperation sharpened his words. Whatever he's offering isn't real. Men like him don't commit to women like... Careful. Ethan's warning carried an unmistakable threat. Understanding dawned in Daniel's expression. You actually care about her. This isn't just another conquest. Olivia deserves better than either of us. Ethan's admission hung in the rain-swept silence. The difference is I recognize that fact. Daniel recovered first. Pretty words from a man with your reputation. At least my failures weren't for lack of effort. The direct retort hit its mark. Tension crackled between them. Olivia stepped between them, blocking their confrontation. Enough. Daniel, we're done. Permanently. Ethan, thank you for the umbrella, but I don't need rescuing. Both men stared at her, surprise mirrored in their expressions. I don't belong to either of you. Clarity resonated in her declaration. Not to the man who discarded me, nor to the man who sees me as a temporary fascination. Ethan's features flickered with pain. You misunderstand my intentions. Do I? You offered one night, no promises. Circumstances change. Intensity burned in his gaze. People change. Perhaps. But I need time to figure out who I am without either of you defining me. Daniel's expression darkened. You're rejecting both of us. I'm choosing myself. The declaration felt like freedom, something she should have done a long time ago. As she walked away, neither man immediately followed her. The absence of pursuit was both disappointing and empowering. She'd almost reached the corner when footsteps splashed behind her. A hand gently touched her shoulder, making her turn. Ethan stood before her, rain plastering his suit to his broad shoulders. I let you walk away once, he said simply. I won't make that mistake again. Weeks passed. Autumn leaves painted Central Park in fiery hues as Olivia rebuilt her life piece by piece. The nonprofit fundraiser consumed her days. Apartment hunting filled her evenings. Slowly, the raw edges of her heart began to heal. Daniel's texts dwindled, then ceased altogether. She learned through mutual friends that he'd accepted a transfer to Chicago. Running away or starting over, she couldn't decide which. From Ethan, nothing. After that rain-soaked declaration, he had simply asked for time to prove he meant more than temporary fascination. She had granted it, unsure what proof could possibly be enough. Then silence. No calls, no texts, no dramatic gestures. Perhaps she'd misread everything. Perhaps his once wounded pride couldn't withstand her rejection. Or maybe Camille had managed to win back her family. The thought shouldn't sting anymore, yet it did. Friday afternoon found her alone in the community center, tallying final donation totals for the literacy benefit. The event had exceeded expectations, funding reading programs for underserved schools in 3 counties. Professional triumph didn't erase personal emptiness. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Outside. Important. Ignoring it seemed prudent, but curiosity won out. She peered through the blinds into the darkening street, where a sleek, familiar vehicle sat idling at the curb. Her heart stuttered. Not Ethan's usual driver, but a woman in the front seat. Unmistakable platinum blonde hair, even in the dim streetlights. Camille. Fear gathered in her stomach as she descended to street level. The passenger window rolled down as she approached. Get in. Camille's command brooked no refusal. Why would I? Because it's about Jake. The mention of Ethan's son stripped away resistance. The interior smelled of expensive perfume and leather. Camille navigated Manhattan traffic with aggressive precision, speaking only after they merged onto the West Side Highway. "He's different now." No preamble necessary. Both knew who she meant. Olivia remained silent, wary of manipulation, distracted, working less. He actually attends Jake's soccer games without checking emails. Camille's manicured hands gripped the steering wheel. "He's trying to be better because of you." The admission clearly cost her. "Why tell me this?" "Because I miscalculated." Brutal honesty hardened her perfect features. "I believed you were temporary. Another diversion he'd tire of. I never was." "You were more," Camille interrupted. "That's the problem." They turned onto a tree-lined suburban street. Ahead lay modest houses with neatly trimmed lawns. Nothing like the luxury Olivia associated with Ethan or Camille. "Where are we?" "My parents' neighborhood. Where I grew up. Where I met Ethan delivering groceries to help pay for college tuition." The revelation stunned Olivia. "You weren't always rich, polished, ruthless." A bitter smile touched Camille's lips. "I earned every quality you despise. Survival required it." For the first time, Olivia glimpsed the woman behind the perfect facade. Hungry, determined, perpetually insecure, despite external success. "Why bring me here? To show you what Ethan does." Camille pointed to a modest house where a familiar figure knelt in the front yard beside a small boy. "Every Tuesday and Friday, he brings Jake to visit my parents. He makes sure they're still part of his life, despite everything that happened between us." In the twilight, Olivia watched Ethan help Jake create a leaf pile, their laughter drifting faintly across the quiet street. The scene radiated domestic joy. "He's a good father." The observation emerged softly. "The best." Agreement tinged with regret. "I wasn't worthy of either of them." The admission hung between them, startling in its vulnerability. "I don't understand why you're showing me this." Camille turned, her icy blue eyes meeting Olivia's directly. "Because I've spent 2 years trying to manipulate my way back into his life. Pride, not love, drove me. The need to win, to possess. And now? Now I realize some victories destroy what you're fighting for." Her gaze returned to the tableau across the street. "Ethan deserves happiness. Jake deserves stability. Neither will happen if I keep interfering." Understanding dawned slowly. "You're letting go, conditionally." Steel returned to Camille's voice. "If you're coming into their lives, commit fully, or walk away permanently. No half measures. They've experienced enough abandonment already." Before Olivia could respond, the car door opened. Jake stood there, his eyes wide with recognition. "You're the lady from the bus station." Delight transformed his features. "Dad, it's her!" Ethan appeared behind his son, surprise evident in his expression as he registered both women. "Olivia?" "Surprise visit." Camille's composure instantly snapped back into place. "I thought Olivia would like to see Jake demonstrate his new soccer skills." The fabricated explanation fooled no one, least of all Ethan, whose gaze moved between the women with open suspicion. "How thoughtful." His tone conveyed the exact opposite. An elderly couple emerged from the house, curious about the commotion. Jake raced towards them, eagerly explaining about the unexpected visitor. Camille seized the momentary distraction. "Don't waste this," she murmured, for Olivia's ears only. "He won't admit it, but you broke something in him. Fix it, or end it." With that cryptic instruction, she glided towards her parents, transforming instantly into the perfect daughter, leaving Ethan and Olivia alone on the sidewalk. Silence stretched between them, heavy with unasked questions. "This is unexpected." His voice betrayed none of his thoughts. "It's Camille's idea, not mine." The clarification felt important. "She wanted me to see something. And you?" His gaze searched her face. "Yes." The simple truth emerged softly. "I saw what matters to you." Something vulnerable flickered in his expression. It's been 6 weeks. You asked for time, to prove I'm worthy of your consideration. Frustration edged his words. Not to disappear completely. You never called, never responded. He ran a hand through his hair, a rare gesture of agitation. I sent flowers, letters, left messages with your assistant. All refused or returned. Confusion creased her brow. I received nothing. Understanding dawned simultaneously for both of them. Camille. Their voices merged in shared realization. She intercepted everything. Disbelief colored her tone. Until tonight. Olivia glanced toward where Camille chatted with her parents. Until she deliberately brought me here. Why would she suddenly help? Suspicion narrowed his gaze. Perhaps she realized some battles aren't worth winning. The idea felt true. That genuine love means prioritizing someone else's happiness over one's own desires. The rain began to fall, softly at first, then with increasing urgency, mirroring that fateful first day at the bus terminal. We should go inside. Ethan gestured toward the house. No. Olivia took a deliberate step into the downpour. I prefer the rain. Understanding transformed his expression. He closed the distance between them in 2 strides. Raindrops painted his face with silver streaks. I never stopped thinking about you. The confession emerged raw, unfiltered. Not for a single day. Prove it. The challenge echoed their first night together. His response was to pull her into him, his lips claiming hers with desperate intensity. The kiss tasted of rain and certainty, erasing weeks of doubt in seconds. When they broke apart, both breathless, his forehead pressed against hers. Is that proof enough? It's a promising start. Joy bubbled through her veins. Jake's whoop of delight interrupted the moment. Dad's kissing her! Laughter escaped them both as they turned to find their audience. Jake bouncing with excitement, Camille watching with complex resignation, her parents smiling with evident approval. I should warn you, Ethan murmured against her temple. This package includes an enthusiastic 7-year-old superhero fan and occasionally complicated family dynamics. I wouldn't have it any other way. The truth resonated in her soul. As Jake raced towards them, launching himself into his father's arms, Olivia realized the perfection of this moment. Not despite its complications, but because of them. True love wasn't the fairy tale she'd planned with Daniel. It was messy, challenging, and unexpectedly beautiful. Exactly like the rain-soaked kiss that had changed everything. Did you enjoy Olivia and Ethan's passionate love story? Where did you hear about this romantic tale? Was it from a friend, social media, or did you stumble upon it while browse? I'd love to know how you found this story. Remember, liking and subscribing costs absolutely nothing, but it helps this channel grow tremendously. No need to fill out any forms or provide personal information. Just click those like and subscribe buttons. Your support enables me to continue creating captivating romantic stories that transport you to worlds of passion, drama, and heartfelt emotions. If you enjoyed this particular story of love found in unexpected circumstances, let me know in the comments which character you connected with the most. Was it Olivia's journey of self-discovery, Ethan's protective nature, or perhaps even Camille's complex evolution? Thank you for joining me on this romantic journey. Until next time.